Creating an hourly average shift report. First, let's create a workbook. And on cell A1, we are going to type hourly average data acquisition IPS and press enter. We can change the font. Let's increase it a bit and make it bold so it looks like a title. And now we click in A3, go to the Historian tab. Under Tag Selection, select Tag Selection. And here we are going to look for a system tag. So I'm going to select my server so I can get all my tags. And here under Tag Name, I want a tag that is called sysdataAC. There we go. The one that we are looking for is sysdataAC overall items per sec. Click OK. Now we have our tag name, so we are going to create a time range. So here in cell A5, we are going to enter a date and time that is at least 7 hours prior to now. That would be 6/19/2014 at 6 a.m. Let's remove this. Press enter. And now in cell A6, we enter equals A5 because we are going to create a formula, and A5 is the reference that contains the value that we are looking for, our date, plus 1/24, and press enter. So what we are doing here is entering the date and time 1 hour later than what we have in A5. Is we are going to drag this formula all the way down until cell A12. Notice that my cursor now is a plus sign. And here on A12, I'm going to release the mouse. And let's make this column a bit bigger. Here we go. And here we have a list of dates and times that will cover a period of 8 hours. Now we click on the Tag Values button and select Aggregate Values. We get the Aggregate Values step 1 of 4 dialog box. Make sure that the server is the name of your Historian server, and under Select Cells containing the tag names, we are going to select A3, the sysdataAC overall items per sec. We click Next. In the step 2 of 4, we are going to select for the output, cell C5. Leave the option Enter the results as an array formula checked. Click Next. In the step 3 of 4, we're going to click on the Calculations tab and click on the drop-down list and select Average. Now we go to the Resolution tab, and instead of using 100 values over equal time intervals, we are going to use values spaced every, and we are going to change this to 60,000 milliseconds. That is every minute. Click Next. For the time, we are going to click the absolute time option. And for the start time and end time, we are going to use cell references. So we click here the first row and use as the start time A5. And for the end time, A6. And click Finish. So basically what we have now is that the average between 6 and 7 p.m. yesterday is 171.697. Now we want to do the same for all these other date and times, right? We calculated the average between 6 and 7. Well, now we want to do it from 7 to 8 and 8 to 9 and 9 to 10. However, we cannot do the same that we did for the date and time. We cannot just put our mouse here on the bottom right corner of the cell and drag it, because look what is going to happen. The same value is going to be copied all over. Why? Because these guys are absolute references, and this is Excel basics. You see that they have the $A$5, for example. Well, we want to make them, let me delete this. We want to make them relative references, like these ones. Notice that this one says A5 without the $sign anywhere. That's a relative reference. That means that when I drag that function to the next cell, that reference is going to change to A6, and the next one to A7, and the next one to A8. So if I want to have the same effect with this formula, I need to modify and convert those Excel absolute references into Excel relative references. So in the formula bar, we are going to modify a portion of this function string. We're going to leave it $A5 without the $sign before the 5, and $A6 without the $sign before the 6. So this is how our formula is going to look like. We don't want to change, for example, A3, because A3 is the name of my tag, and that formula all over has to be using that tag name. So I want to leave that one as an absolute reference. Let's click enter. Now we position the cursor on cell C6 on the bottom right corner of the cell. When the cursor turns into a cross icon, we drag it all the way down to C12, and notice that now the cell values are refreshed. The formula is being recalculated using this date and times, and we have our hourly average. Now, since the reference to the tag name is absolute, we can go ahead and change the name of this tag, for example, to speed. Click enter, and notice that all our average values get updated. So let's go ahead and save this file under our training folder. I'm gonna call it hourly average shift. Save it, and we can close the workbook, and we are done with the lab.